Hey, it's me, Unapologetically T, and I'm back with another video. I did a video yesterday about some things that I accomplished yesterday, and I, ironically enough, was talking about how I still want to work on my anger, and some things aligned for me, right? So, I was discussing how, like I still, have this anger, which we all do, right? And I'm just trying to work on how I deal with that and manage it. And yesterday I was tested. Um and it's funny because I actually have been thinking about trying to reconnect with my oldest sister on my dad's side. And however, after yesterday, like I have no intentions. Like I'm gonna stand solid on what I experienced and what I felt initially 9 months ago. I have no intentions on having a relationship with her, my brother, or my dad. And it ain't no ill will. It ain't even no ill will towards my dad. I do feel like, he did some foul shit. But that ain't my place. God can judge us all. But it's just ain't no ill will. I just feel like I no longer want to share space with people that I can't trust, or that like does things behind my back or whatever like that. I just, the manipulation, like I don't got time for it. It doesn't fit my new lifestyle. It doesn't fit where I'm headed. So yesterday was very challenging for me. So I wanted to come and do a video and talk about how I was able to deal with that situation. Without great, going into great detail, I received a text message which um I and my oldest sister was power attorney for my dad. I never wanted the responsibility. I and my sister were in the will for my dad's you know, assets or whatever. Never wanted that shit. My dad pushed the issue. My mom, encouraged me. She didn't push no issue. She just encouraged me, was like, all the shit you've been through in life with him. And this is minus just the sexual abuse. This is just the other shit that he's put me through. But just to put it all on top of everything, like all of that, like I had already 9 months ago felt like I didn't want to be tied to it. I've publicly cut ties, publicly outed what happened. And I always, was constantly praying to God, like, how do I kind of get out of that situation? Because I really don't want shit from that man. All my life, I, have been promised these things, and I don't give two shits about them. I've been building a life for me and my child since I had her, and I've been building a life for myself since I was old enough to work. So, God bless the child that has his own. I don't want what that man got. Yeah, I just don't even want to be associated with him or anything he has. So, what actually, presented itself as a obstacle was actually liberation for me. So saying all that, I got an text message, a group text message from my brother and my sister. But my brother, I think, was the one that wrote it, but I can't remember because I've just not necessarily dissociated from it, but like it's just is what's done is done. I'm talking about this for educational purposes only. Like I really could give two rats ass and about this. So but I did at first. I'm not gonna lie. I had some moments at first, but we'll get to that. So I get this message from I'm gonna just say my siblings, and it basically stated that, as of today, you have been removed as power of attorney because dad can't reach you, and it's easier to get things done that way. And your copy of power attorney is void as of today, but you're still, everything in the will is still the same. First of fucking all, the whole reason we got power of attorney when we got power of attorney, it was because we know that he was getting diagnosed with dementia and all that shit. So to tell me that I had to communicate with not only a fucking incestuous pedophile, and y'all couldn't communicate with me and tell me that y'all wanted to change the power of attorney, it's the principle about it. If y'all would have called me and said, hey, look, we think it's best that you get off power of attorney, you know, because I ain't even present anyway and I'm not dealing with him, so I understand that concept. But why couldn't you have a conversation with me? Why, the same way you took out yesterday to text me and tell me that you're doing this because he can't get in contact with me, which the whole point of power of attorney is that he can't make financial decisions for himself. So why the fuck would I need to talk to him? I was supposed to be talking and communicating with my siblings. Matter of fact, I was supposed to be communicating with my older sister, but my brother does have power of attorney over his bank, which that further confuses me, because it's not like them not communicating with me has an effect over my brother taking money out of his bank account or nothing like that, because my brother has power of attorney over his bank account. My dad set it up that way, and then me and my sister just had power of attorney over all other assets. So saying that, he don't get to even make his financial decisions for himself. He has fucking dementia. So I don't have to talk to him. I have to talk to y'all. But it don't sound like we're dealing with a full deck of cards. So, you know, like, immediately my body just reacted to, like, that shit is against the law. But it was like, you know what? Pick your battles. Like, this is a blessing in disguise. You didn't want that shit no more anyway. And, you know, it's so funny because the only reason my brother is up there with him is because him and my sister got into a falling out and he ain't had nowhere else to go. So as soon as his car broke down, he went up there to stay with him. And so it's like, don't try to do that. Like, that manipulation shit, that shit not gonna work with me. That underhanded going behind my back, it didn't have to go that way. I would have gladly, even though there's really no rights for me to relinquish, I would have gladly been like, I think that's a great idea. Had y'all talk to me like we were fucking adults. Like, I really would have been like, you know, I think that's the best thing for all of us, because I don't want nothing to do with him. I really, truly would like to be removed out of the will so they really can go a step further and get the will changed and just put those two on there, because I don't really want nothing to do with that man. He can keep his 20 acres and, you know, do whatever he want to do with it in his death, because that's what I laugh about. Like, you sacrificed your kids for land and, you know, gambling and bitches and money and alcohol. So, you know, what do you really have when you die? I don't know. But that's just how I feel about that. I will buy my own land. I also have a mother who has her own land, so I'm not tripping off of none of that shit. Like, I don't want nothing from nobody who was not great to me in life. I really don't want this shit in death. So, and I've always felt that way, but I've always been kind of pushed to, as if that shit was like my birthright or something. But I don't want to be associated with that. Like, I don't want it. So it was purely principle for me. And you can see my anger coming up to surface now. But it was purely like principle. Like, why would you have a conversation with me about it today? Like, why did you even tell me today? You didn't tell me when the fuck y'all all had a conversation about it together. So why would you tell me about it today? Like, what was the importance of letting me know today? You had a whole powwow and got the legal documents changed on your own. Like, what was the point of that, sweetheart? Like, don't try to play games with me. Don't try to act like I'm not contactable. Like, I text y'all for y'all fucking birthday. And then it's crazy because, like, this whole time I've been going through what I've been going through. Yes, granted, I cussed my sister square the fuck out. But I ain't did shit to my brother. But I just felt like, you know, he her little peon. And, you know, that's how that shit go. But after yesterday, I was done. It's blocked. There's no reason for none of those three to call, text me, nothing like that. I'm done with that. However, while dealing with that, as you can see, like, my anger comes up. When I was dealing with it, like, my anger was very fucking intense. Like, this is nothing compared to what I felt yesterday. So what I ended up doing was, I always been saying lately, like, all weapons formed against me make me prosper. And this is one of the instances where it did. Like, it helped me formulate a whole little writing thing for myself to help me calm down when I'm angry. So I made an anger template, and I think I'm gonna actually try to make this a document and give it to people for free, because none of us are really taught how to properly deal with our emotions and all that stuff, and then we end up suppressing stuff or making things feel like guilty or shame for actually showing up to do the very thing that it was designed to do for us, right? So I was never taught how to properly deal with my anger. I was taught to fight and cuss your ass out. So or either like, like it was not worth my time. So like it was either of those three things. It was like a complete shutdown, like I'm not fucking with it, or fight or cuss you out. So now that I'm growing and I'm completely a different person than what I used to be. I thank the person before me who got me this far, but I no longer even want to place blame on others for why I feel angry. Number one, my anger is my anger. So I think it's good to start viewing it that way. That was actually brought up not yesterday, but Tuesday in Reiki healing. Like, our anger is ours, but we're always trying to find something to put the blame on. So it wasn't their fault that my anger flared up the way it was, and it's not their responsibility to get my anger to kind of like rationalize again. So even though they were wrong in their own right, like literally it was just matter of principle. You should have had a conversation with me if you wanted to change power of attorney. That's just common fucking decency. That all it took was the same way you text me about you had changed it was the same way you could have texted me and said you wanted to change it. But because, that's the way you choose to move, that's the way you choose to move. It has nothing to do with how I would do things in life, and I'm gonna continue to be me and move with integrity and to the best of my abilities, because I'm not perfect either. But I wouldn't have went behind nobody back and did no shit like that. It would have been in your face, and then I would have, if you wouldn't have agreed, then that's when I would have been like, we can go and do whatever fuck we want behind your back. But to me, let bygones be bygones. Thank you for showing me who you truly are. I should have believed you the first 100 times. So to get into, why I'm actually doing the video, because it's not really about the grief I'm dealing with my siblings right now. So I created a template, and my template asks the question of, like, it asks different questions. So first it starts off with, why did it anger you? So usually, typically when we get hangry, we're typically not thinking about why shit done pissed us off. Even if it's coming to us in little snippets, we're usually really focused on the emotion of anger. So this question kind of helped me get off of what I wanted to do and think about why I was feeling that way. So, and I basically wrote down why I was feeling that way. I put down my siblings. My siblings basically initiated or ignited my anger because I felt like things were not fair. So I felt like they did not do things fair. They did not play fair. And it also made me realize, like, them moving the way they moved made me feel like I no longer trust them. And so I've already had some trust issues going on there anyway, but I really felt like I couldn't trust them in that moment at that time. And then it also went deeper into that. It's kind of almost like this trigger response of when someone does something that has been done to me before. It's not just what that person has done, it is what has been done before also. So it's not only that they weren't playing fair, it was that I started to revert back to, the people in my life has not played fair at all or ever. And so now I'm starting to get into this extreme thinking, right? So then I asked myself, my anger, the question of, what's coming up for you? So like, what's coming up for you would mean, like, like what feelings are you, like what thoughts, I would say, what thoughts are you thinking? And I said I felt a strong hate and dislike, which I typically shame those feelings. However, it is what it is. I thought it, I felt it. I gotta let that shit, pass. I can't beat myself up for thinking it and feeling it. Like, I can't beat myself out of having a human response to someone mistreating me. So I talked about, for when I asked the question of what's coming up for you, which is pertaining to what's your thoughts currently. I thought about like, I even thought I wanted to wish negative things towards them, but I knew I shouldn't do that. So naturally, I do want them to be punished or there be justice for what is that has been done, but not by my doing, by God's doing. And then I even went on to say that, like, like I basically know those feelings. I don't want to have those feelings. So it's not even that I shouldn't have those feelings. It's just that I don't even want those feelings, but that is what's coming up for me. So still acknowledging that's what's coming up for me, but still acknowledging that I don't really think that's fair of me to, feel that intense about it. So there's some conflict there, right? So basically talked about too that I don't want anything to do with the ancestral pedophile in any way, including with his kids now. So it's just like, that's me saying that basically I'm ready to completely detach. And then so the next thing that came up, far as a question that I asked myself, is like, what can you do to make you feel better now that you have validated your anger? So I was validating my anger when I was like, what thoughts are coming up for me? So that's acknowledging how my anger feels, whether it's right or wrong, whether it's irrational or what, validating that is okay. That's just how I feel. So it was like, what can you do to make you feel better now that you have validated your anger? And I said, I can remove all three from my life. I don't need to deal with people that I can't trust. That is the most healthiest form of self-love, is to realize that, there are people in your life, whether they're family, friends, or whatever, that are detrimental to your mental health, your soul being. Like, something in me happened that I just, that don't sit right with me. And because it don't sit right with me, I do have the right to say, hey, look, enough is enough. I don't even think that we should be dealing with each other. Like, it'd be in our best interest to part. No love lost, because I'm at the point now where I don't even feel the intensity and anger that I felt in, the one where I said I hate or dislike. I'm not feeling that intensity now. Now I'm kind of feeling like, let's let bygones be bygones. We just don't deal with each other. No love lost. In the sense of like, I want anything wrong to happen to you, but basically like, we just ain't got to deal with each other. Like, you got all that you need to get, like, you really is nothing now. There's nothing that ties us together. Nothing at all ties together but a bloodline. And all kinfolk ain't skinfolk. So that's how I'm gonna leave that one. And that definitely is about, other black people, not, treating other black people correctly. But I'm gonna use it for family sakes too. So it says that it's insane for me to deal with people that constantly reminds me and hurts me over and over again, or like basically misuse my trust. So it serves me no purpose to have a relationship with people that I can't trust. It's also a happy, healthy boundary to set for myself, to rid myself of that type of energy. Then I asked myself, is there anything else your anger wants you to know? So this is for if there's any residual like anger lingering around, like, but I ain't done yet. If you like me, then it can be some lingering parts that be like, but I ain't done yet. I could be a petty bitch. So I definitely know, I gotta ask myself this question, right? So when they asked me that, I actually took a vulnerable route. Like my anger took a vulnerable route, and I'm looking at anger as its own little piece of me. So my anger took a vulnerable route, and it said what it actually hates is when people mistreats me, because it makes me sad, and sadness hurts, so it wants to make people feel what I'm feeling. So that's what my anger wanted me to know. And I embraced and loved on my anger for that, because that's real. um and then I wrote, if your anger still needs a release, what can we do to nurture that process? So this part of the question is like, you've talked to your anger, you validated your anger, you let your anger let you know what it is that is causing it to feel that way. But now, what can you do to further assist your anger when things like this happen? So let's just say you have this little worksheet, but your anger is still surfacing for you, because it needs to be nurtured, and it needs to get that energy out. That is real energy. Like, being mad is energy. It takes energy to be mad. So this part of the questioning is, what do you do, like, typically when you get angry, to kind of like release that? For me, it was, I said I could color. I could talk to someone about it, which I did. Connect with nature, excuse me. Scream was the best one. Like, literally, if you could find an open space where you could just go out, I say, like, go out and just scream. And should I scream in the house sometimes? Definitely when this is my house. But I'm not in my house now, so like I could go in the woods though. So make it work for you. I don't know where your special place would be if screaming works for you. I said also too, this one is a real one. I said I could curse the person out because I love to curse people. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I do these videos with all honesty. Like, I love to cuss people out. However, I don't feel like where I'm going, I really need to do that unless necessary. In this situation, me utilizing my energy for that situation where I really did not give a fuck about anyway, and I really wanted to be away from it anyway, as far as the power of attorney. Now the siblings, I basically said I wasn't going to deal with them if things continued the way it did, but thank you for showing me that it will continue the way it did. So now I get to like make peace in a couple of areas. I don't have to worry about being attached to my dad's shit that I don't fucking like, and I don't have to worry about having toxic people in my life thinking that they are for my best interest, but they're not. So that's that. I said I could curse people out, so I could either do this by writing a letter to them and saying how I felt, maybe burning it or ripping it up, whatever you like to do. I could also go do it, in the mirror. And maybe it'll turn into a joke. I don't know. Like, I just was thinking about things I could do that would make me feel better. And then I bust out laughing. So I was like, well, laughing helps with my anger. It helps my anger feel better. So like, I could do stuff that actually make me laugh. And I always told y'all starting these videos that laughter is a coping mechanism for me. It really is. It feels good to my soul. So if I can laugh at it, I can get through it. So, meditate was one. So sitting with my anger for a little while longer. Maybe my anger needs a little more, love and attention, validation. So that was what I would do. So I made this little template. I do want to make it a little more clearer and workable for other people, because I get what it means, but I realize that like it might be needed to the questions might need to be worded more clearly so that others can utilize it. And that worksheet might not work for you, but it worked for me yesterday. And I've been trying to find ways all my fucking life how to deal with my anger, to manage my anger. I taken anger management classes as a kid. Like, I've anger has definitely led me down some consequences that I didn't necessarily want to have. And I just want to have a life where I control me. I don't let outside outliers control me. And it doesn't mean that I have to suppress or disassociate with my anger altogether, because that's dangerous too. And I made poems about that, which I'll share later on. But yeah, so a lot of the my anger, basically, I've been learning that I literally can transmute my anger into something beautiful. I don't always have to transmute my anger into pain. So that was like an eye opener for me yesterday, and thank you God for the trigger. Like, thank you God for the trigger. Like, it helped me so good. Like, and I did text them and let them know how I felt. I don't think I cussed in there, but I definitely let them know how I felt. Like, it was a bunch of bullshit to me. But it's a godsend. Like, sometimes, look, hanging out with these young ladies prepared me for today because we was in there saying, like, rejection is protection. And she was like, God damn it, what she say? Sorry, God. What she said, she said, and there is, let me pause and let me think about it. All right, so I got it. I needed to pause because I had to figure that out, and it only took 5 seconds after I paused. So, we were saying, there's protection and rejection, and another girl in there was like, yes, and you got to be thankful and embrace the redirection. So now I have like this another layer of there is protection and rejection, and embrace and be happy for that redirection, because whatever was going on, it ain't meant for you. You don't need that. So sometimes, sometimes your anger is there to protect you. I would say all the time, your anger is there to protect you. However, you have to be in control and lead to know when that anger should be able to be let out in the instance to defend yourself. If it is a situation that does not serve you, try to figure out how you can comfort your anger, how you can transmute your anger into something else, and work with it. But if it is something where you need to defend yourself, baby, let the anger fly. Don't deny, don't suppress, let it out. Like, I'm a big person on, letting out that anger, when you have to, though. Like, I've learned over the years, like, not every situation I've had to let out my anger. However, what I ended up doing was suppressing my anger. So then it became a problem because now I have stored up aggression that ain't went no fucking where. It's just been a sleeping little beast waiting to be woke up. And whoever fucked around and found out, like, was the person that fucked around and found out. And now it's not like that. I just felt really proud of myself yesterday. One day at a time, right? One day at a time. Tomorrow I might mess up. But I got something to go to if I do mess up. And it's gonna take time to retrain my brain because, like I said, I never really was taught how to deal with my anger. So I just wanted to share this with y'all. I am going to try to make a document. Maybe I can put that in a mini book or something. Maybe I'll save that. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I definitely found that to be so helpful for me. If you do try it and it's helpful for you, please come back on this video, comment, and tell me it was helpful. But we do need resources on how to deal with our feelings because we're literally little children walking around in adult bodies not knowing how to acknowledge our feelings. Like, shit, a lot of people only functioning off I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm mad. There is no in-betweens, and that's sad. We have so many feelings and emotions, and we need to let them out in appropriate times and embrace them for why they were given to us. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that. Like I share all other things that I find out. And I'm about to do my poems that actually came. I transmuted my pain into the poem. So I'm gonna do my poems. It's anger part 1 and anger part 2, and it's kind of like an elevation, an evolution of how I once saw my anger and how I deal with my anger now. So check it out if you can. And thank you for all the support and love that I've been receiving. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Until next time.